Welcome to the Newton County Democratic Party's Town Hall Forum series. In round one of tonight's forum, the candidates vying to be District 1's County Commissioner join us. They are Catalata Hardiman, Roy Parham III, and now, our moderator for the evening, please welcome our chairman, Ryan Barrett.
Hello, I'm Mike Hesterly. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on this our series of forums for the candidates running for office in Newton County. This evening, we're going to we'll have guests as candidates for Newton County Board of Commissioners District 1. Our guests are Catalata Hardiman and Roy Parham. And I'm going to hand it over to Ryan Barrett now. Ryan is our our moderator for this evening. Ryan.
Good evening. Welcome, candidates. Thank you, Mike, for the introduction. Thank you, for joining us for this forum this evening. Thank you to our neighbors and fellow voters for tuning in with us. 2020 is the most pivotal election of our lifetime. Solid leadership is a necessity. I apologize for the neighbor doing their yard. Now I will review the guidelines of this forum that you have received prior to this dialogue. These are the guidelines for the forum that the leadership and candidates have been given. I will call on candidates in alphabetical order by their last name. When you are called, you will be unmuted by the host and will be provided up to 2 minutes to give an introduction of yourself and your campaign. I will ask a question that was submitted at random. Candidates will be called on to respond in alphabetical order by last name. The candidate answering the question will be provided 1 minute to respond. If an opponent is mentioned in the response by another candidate, the mentioned opponent will be afforded 30 seconds to respond. Time will be called by the first vice chair, who is our host for the evening. All candidates will not necessarily be asked all questions. The allotted time for this forum is 1 hour. If all questions have been given the opportunity to be presented, I'll then recycle the questions and continue in the order they were previously mentioned until the time is called by our host. Closing of questions, I will call on candidates in alphabetical order by last name, and you'll be afforded an additional 2 minutes to give a closing statement. This forum is being live streamed on Facebook. All comments are disabled and removed to ensure that the focus of this forum is on the candidates and not on individuals wishing to cause outside disruption. At the end of the forum, you may find the recording available on our YouTube and Facebook page. At this time, I would like to give the candidates their 2 minutes for their opening remarks, and we will start with you, Ms. Hardiman. So, Mike, if you unmute Ms. Hardiman.
Oh. Hi, my name is Catalata Hardiman. Can you hear me? Okay. My name is Catalata Hardiman, and I am a candidate for District 1, and I would like to be the catalyst that will open the doors for the change in District 1. Having lived in Newton County since the age of 8, I have an invested interest in the county and the voice of those that are often overlooked and underdeserved. And I look forward to working with each and every one during this campaign.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hardiman. And now we will provide 2 minutes to you, Mr. Parham.
Okay. Hello, Newton County. My name is Roy Parham, and I'm a native of Atlanta, Georgia, the son of 2 hardworking parents and the youngest of 6. I've been a Newton County resident for 22 years, and I've been married to a wonderful woman, Denise, for almost 30 years. We are the parents of 5 kids and the grandparents of 14. I'm a graduate of Georgia State University with a master's in public administration. and a bachelor's in political science and an associate's in political science from Georgia State. I also hold a certificate of mediator by the Georgia Bar Association and the University of Georgia, with intent to make a difference in my community. I have served as a court-appointed special advocate, that's CASA, in Covington, and served for 4 years as an active proponent and volunteer of the Newton County judicial system. I have been active and involved in the Newton County Adult Felony Drug Court, which coordinates substance abuse intervention, treatment, and judicial support through immediate sanctions and incentive programs. And I am delighted to have an opportunity to run for Board of Commissioner for the wonderful district of District 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parham. As a reminder, this is not a debate. This is not a time to sling mud upon one another. We want to provide a fair and equal opportunity to have candidates in front of the constituency. Any issues that arise in the forum that may violate this will be decided upon by unanimous agreement from the moderator and the host. Whatever decision that is made is final. Now, for our first round of questions, our first question goes to you, Ms. Hardiman. Let me pull these up for you. Ms. Hardiman, your first question is, how will you better allocate funds in our highest crime neighborhoods in Newton County?
I would allocate the funds by providing resources and courses for the criminals. For instance, develop programs that would help them to get back on track, educate them. Sometimes I believe that crime is due to lack of knowledge. So I would set up programs and special different things for them to do to help direct their energy back into the society as a positive, as opposed to doing criminal activities.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, Mr. Parham, your first question. What are your plans to make your district as viable as the other districts in Newton County? And how will you use the $550,000 in the budget that is allocated to help the district community?
Well, first of all, I think our District 1 is viable as any other district in Newton County. And you were saying about the budget. How much was the budget? What did you say, 5?
Each district is given $550,000. So how would you use that in the community of your district?
Well, the budget basically is allowed through the SPLOS fund. And what we would do as a community, we will come together and decide what will we need in our community as far as beautification, as just bringing everybody together. If it's the children education, or road work, or build a building that the community can really use. That's what I say that we will use the money for, the budget fund for.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Hardiman, what are the county's plans? What would be your plans for the county to provide adequate access to public safety, fire, EMS, and etc., as this is a safety and economic issue as homeowner insurance rates are continuing to rise because of lack of access?
Well, I will advocate for satellite offices, such as like satellite police stations, hospitals, and also urgent care facilities in this area, so that we wouldn't have to travel or wait to go long distances. I think that we need satellite facilities out closer and to give us closer access with the police and, health emergencies.
Thank you. Mr. Parham, what have you done in the district specifically, or what will you do in the district specifically with our current budget to help balance and help our senior citizens, youth, and community flourish?
Well, as I'm very viable in the neighborhood, and I also visit the Senior Citizen Center at Turner Lake and at in Mansfield, and I see that they already have started building an addition the Senior Citizen Center at Turner Lake. What I would do, I would just aid like I always do, go by and help feed the City Citizen Center, go by and see what their needs are, if they are, what are they lacking, just be more hands-on with the Senior Citizen Centers here in Newton County. And that way we can assure that the funding is spent wisely and not just sent areas to some area that is not even used, not even needed.
Okay, thank you, sir. Ms. Hardiman, COVID-19 has affected the entire world. How would the Newton County Board of Commission better prepare Newton County for future emergencies such as this?
We would continue to follow the CDC guidelines, and I suggest that we collect local data for our county to see what's best for our citizens and communities. And with that being said, the community needs in the county may differ based on the income and the community needs. So I think we just need to assess what we have here as long as we're following the CDC guidelines to do what's best for us.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Parham, and this is in regards to the convenience center for garbage. Do you feel that the county is pushing residents to use a private trash collector?
Well, I believe that the county is giving us an option to whether we want to use the convenience center or go outside and perhaps pick up a trash center, which I picked up a trash center on the outside. So, but it was before Newton County came up with the tag system. But I think it's a great opportunity to teach the citizens and here in Newton County and the residents, which is a great thing that they really deals with, is recycling at the convenience center and teaching the youth about sustainability and waste and everything. So I think it's a good thing. I don't think that they are taking away our options, but I think they are giving us another option to keep Newton beautiful.
Thank you. Ms. Hardiman, how will you address keeping up our green spaces better in our district with regards to mowing the grass on easements as well as beautification in the district?
Okay, can you repeat the first part of the question?
Absolutely. How will you address keeping up our green spaces better in our district with regards to mowing the grass on the easements and also beautification of the district?
Well, I believe we would need to look at the workforce to see if we have enough people that may be creating more jobs to make sure, because I know where I live, the grass gets pretty high, with the mowing and, make sure that we have the right equipment, the right people in the right places to make sure that it's taken care of. So again, we would have to go back and look at the budget. And if the budget is not there, we have to create ways to come up with the money to make sure that we have enough workforce to keep the county beautiful and keep the grass mowed and to keep our county attractive, to promote more growth and more businesses and more people to come live, work, and play here.
Thank you. Mr. Parham, what is your knowledge of the JDA, or the Joint Development Authority, and what is its importance?
The JDA, the Joint Development Association, that's what you said. The JDA is a economic development, I guess, part of Newton County. And what it is incorporates Jasper, Walton, and let me go to my notes, counties. And what it does is bring development, which is a good thing, into these 4 counties. And like they have a project coming on, which is the Stanton program. And that program is bringing and economic advancements for Newton County and the other counties. Also is bringing jobs that we need. So I think the JDA is a great program that has come on, and I think is needed very much here in Newton County.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Parham, Ms. Hardeman, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to make sure I get these questions right. Ms. Hardeman, as we're going into the primary, voters have a choice in this election, you and your opponent that's on the call now. Why should voters choose you?
Why should they choose me? I've been in the community. I've been able to adapt through all the changes, and good, bad, or indifferent. I'm willing to advocate a lot for senior citizens and the youth. And I've just seen the growth. I've seen the problems that we have. I mean, I've been here through it all, and I have firsthand knowledge of the things that we've been through. And therefore, I believe that I could give an open and honest opinion of what needs to be done for the county, since I've lived through it. I have firsthand experience, and my view would be from my eyes and not from what, I have an open, honest point of view.
Ms. Hardeman, thank you. Mr. Parham, what are your views for the special purpose local option sales tax, or SPLOST? And what would be your plans for upcoming SPLOST opportunities for our community?
Could you repeat that one more time?
Sure. So we're talking about the special purpose local option sales tax, or SPLOST.
Okay.
What are your views on SPLOST, and what would be your plans for upcoming SPLOST opportunities?
Well, I think the SPLOST is a great thing. It's only 1% sales on the sales tax. And I think the SPLOST enables us in Newton County to plan ahead. The last SPLOST was in 2017, which we are working through, which has put in the park over off of on 212. It is enabling us to increase the size of our senior citizen home. And I think that is a great thing. So the SPLOST is doing what it's supposed to do, and future goals. I see us doing parks on this end of 212 in District 1. I would love to see a park for the children, some more viable access for community growth in this area, maybe a community center in District 1. So that's what I would think would be a great opportunity, or a great thing to do with the SPLOST fund.
Thank you. Ms. Hardeman, what will you do in district, specifically with our current budget, to balance it and also help our senior citizens, youth, and
We'll look for an impact zone in our district to where we can create, like I said earlier, a place to live, work, and play. I would like to build an active living housing for the seniors somewhere out here, as well as lower income families, and then try to partner with local churches and try to use their facilities to do activities for the youth and for the seniors until we're able to build our own facilities for the youth and the senior citizens or elderly to use.
Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Parham, what ideas would you have as a county commissioner to facilitate safer and more convenient voting in our county, like Sunday voting, voting absentee by mail, And how would you make sure that these changes are permanent that you would put forward?
Well, Ron, I spoke with Miss Mantle and about these changes that needed to be done, and she assured me that we will be following the CDC guidelines of safe 6-foot distances and wearing masks and gloves. One thing that she told me that they will be doing would be they will be handing out masks and gloves during this time. And also what they will be doing would be they would be after every other voter, they would come in and they would sanitize the stations, the voting stations, and they would sanitize the pens in order to keep us safe. I think that for now, using the CDC guidelines and the people that are in the trenches, the knowledge of what is going on, I think that is what I would do. I would take what Ms. Mantle was saying, and I would use her expertise, and which I think is a great thing. They would also be using a plexiglass in between each voting station in order to keep the people safe also. So, which I think is a great thing.
Thank you. Ms. Hardiman, what are the 4 major boundary lines of your district? And what do you feel are the unique challenges for District 1?
Well, the unique challenges of District 1 is growth. I think smart growth we're food desert, and mostly everything that's here, we just need to grow. We need some we need restaurants out here. We need stores. We just need more opportunities to build and provide, possibly put more jobs out here, so everything doesn't have to be, we have to go into the city to live, work, and play. And the boundaries, I don't want to misspeak. So I will double check those and I'll get back to you, because I don't want to say something's wrong. So I'll double check that and I'll get back with you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Parham.
Yes.
This is a question. I'm going to read just a little preface before the question from this individual that they submitted. They said, as a person in their 30s living in Newton County, it feels like our taxes are very high and young people already have a hard time making ends meet in this economy. Would you consider lowering the millage rate for property taxes?
No, now, when you consider now the 30-year-old person would have to consider what would be willing to live without, because once you decrease taxes, you're going to decrease services. So one thing I found out, you cannot implement a service and take it back. Knowing that we are in a difficult time right now and things are going to have to be adjusted, I think it's something that we're going to have to get used to right now. But as a commissioner, I will fight for lower millage rates if it doesn't deplete services that we all have learned all have learned to love and to enjoy,
Okay, thank you. Ms. Hardiman, this is another question regarding the trash fees that are collected with the convenience center. The question is, do you know where the money that is collected for that goes?
I do not know where that money goes as of yet. I also don't agree wholeheartedly with the collection fees, because I do, I'm an advocate for senior citizens, and I know a lot of people have fixed incomes, and last I checked, it was $155. And I think we need to revisit that and as an individual, because it's not a one size fits all deal, and maybe look at that on a sliding scale based off age and income, and just to see if we can possibly, wherever that money is going right now, see how we could come up with a different way to fund whatever that need is for. That's my view on the convenience fee.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Parham, what would be your plans to bring new businesses to your district as well as to the county as a whole?
Well, what I would do, I would work hand in hand with the JDA. I mean, the J, hold on. Let me go in here. Hold on, Ryan. I had a difficult. With the Joint Development Authority, I would work hand in hand with them and the Economic and Development portion here in Newton County to see what can we put in these areas, what business can be brought into this area. And I think that we're doing great so far because we have already implemented the Facebook plant, and we have a new thing on the horizon, which is the Lidl plant, which is a German plant that is a plant that that houses groceries. And I think that would be that type of stuff is great, but I think we are doing good. But we most definitely will have to see what the people in District 1, how they feel about it, and how we can implement this smart growth where it pleases both the economic and the community, and not take from the community and just forget about the community in order to have growth or just economic growth. I'm a firm believer in smart growth. Smart growth goes a long way.
Thank you. Ms. Hardiman, what are your plans to make your district as viable as the other counties, as the other districts in Newton County? And how would you use the $550,000 district budget to help the district as a community?
Again, like I was talking earlier, I would look at developing an impact zone, possibly located near and between Highway 36 and 212. The smart growth, again, would eliminate the food desert. And in addition to that, I will work with the DOT. I noticed on Highway 162, that area, that road, there's a curve over there on Highway 162 and off of Lower River Road. I will work with the DOT and proper authorities to look at or revisit to revise or rebuild those roads to help minimize accidents and deaths that had occurred over the years. And in addition to that, I'll notice there's several roads in our county, in our district, that were once started to be paved, and they're not. One in particular is We Hunt Road. I've had several residents mention that to me just in general conversation about that. And we would just, take a look to make sure we finish what we start and continue to build up District 1 to make it as viable, as the rest of the county with growth and development. And with that, the beautification would come with the impact zone.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Parham, tires, trash, and furniture are something that have been noticed more on the roadways in rural areas of Newton County. Do you feel this is a result of raising fees on the dump pass? And how would you address the issue of garbage on our road signs?
Ron, I really don't know the research on that, but before they started with the impact fees, I've been living in this area for 22 years, and there always been tires and trash on the less traveled roads. What I think we need to do is with the Department of Transportation and all the other zoning areas, we need to, as a community, to go out, and that would be one of my things I would do as a commissioner. I would travel those roads, and I would make sure that they get on that stuff right away, because it is an eyesore. It's an eyesore. It's just not right. So what I would do would make sure that when I become commissioner, I would go out and make sure that all these roads are clean, all the easements or the grass is cut on them, and just make sure our roads are beautiful here out in District 1. So, and also get the community involvement. Maybe they know who is doing this stuff, and maybe they would be willing to, participate, and we maybe be able to get public safety in on it.
Thank you. Ms. Hardiman, what are your views on up?
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
If you can start over again, I'm so sorry, that was a glitch.
No, I didn't hear the question because it froze.
Okay, so let's try it again. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
What are your views on the SPLOST, the Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax, and what would be your plans for upcoming SPLOST opportunities?
Before I would commit to anything, I would take a look at what's currently in place to make sure those commitments have been made prior to me committing to do something else. Again, I would hate to start something new before we finish what we initially started. And, I just have to look at what's been done, how far we have to go before I make new commitments on something more. And I would get involvement from the community and see what their needs and wants are before I make new commitments after I found out what's already in place and how far we are.
Thank you so much. Mr. Parham, many of the constituents in the district are not aware that we have a commissioner that speaks solely for our district. How will you change that, and what will you do to build community in our district?
Well, what I would do would I would be visible. I would be visible to the community. Then I would go out as much as I can and to reach out to the community by way of just having forums like we're having now on Facebook, in the times of this corona virus. I would go out, or I would just make visibility. I think that's the one thing that we missed in this district, because, I never knew who our commissioner were. And I think that we need to be, as a commissioner, we need to be more visible. I think we need to practice more transparency as to, and be more accessible to the community, and once I, become board of commissioner, that would be my main thing, would to be serving as an advocate for the people in District 1,
Thank you, sir. Ms. Hardiman, what is your knowledge of the Salem overlay, and how would you address the onslaught of new builders who wish to build new homes and not conform to the overlay standards?
Honestly, Ryan, I'm not familiar with the Salem overlay, so I'll have to review that. And once I, get up to speed with that, I can voice my opinion on that one.
Absolutely. Thank you. Mr. Parham, same question for you. What is your knowledge of the Salem overlay? How would you address the onslaught of new builders who wish to build new homes and not wish to conform to the overlay standard?
Well, we voted as the commissioners voted on this. So I think that we would need to be held accountable for not following the rules of the Salem overlay. Now, the Salem overlay was supposedly supposed to be a project that will beautify and that will make the businesses more accessible to Salem. But if they are not paying attention or not following the rules, I think there should be sanctions, and I think all permits should be pulled when you're not following the rules. I think should also we should work together with the zoning department and with the inspectors to make sure that they are following the rules. And if they're not following rules, I think they should be sanctioned for that.
All right, thank you. Ms. Hardiman, what are your thoughts and views on the Board of Commissioners providing permitting and review fee forgiveness in an effort to attract new business like they've done with Lidl?
Okay. Repeat that once more. Repeat it once more. The first part went out.
Sure. So what are your thoughts or views on the Board of Commissioners providing permit or review fee forgiveness? So basically they're forgoing any of the permitting fees that they would charge businesses to build in an effort to attract that new business like they did with Lidl. What are your thoughts on them doing?
Well, I think they should not be forgiven for permits and things like that, because if we as citizens of the county have to pay for permits and for the things that we use here, and they're coming in to take our money, solicit our money for growth, then they should pay for those permits as well. I know business growth is important, but also, we have to do what's right for all of the county. I just don't agree with that either. I think they need to pay for their permits. Maybe a discount, maybe, but I don't agree with that. I think they should pay fees as well.
Thank you so much. Mr. Parham, in the past, Newton County has been reactive to external events, such as the BD ethylene oxide event and the COVID-19 pandemic. What proactive steps would you take to possibly avert future dangers or prepare for them?
Ryan, what we need to do in those cases of the ethylene and the COVID, we don't really need to. We need to have someone in place. We need to work more hands in hands with our health community and our public safety people on the ground, people who in the hospital, doctors who knows about this firsthand. That's what I would rely on, because I don't have a medical degree or science degree, so I would rely on the people that do it every day, who are in the trenches. And I wouldn't per se just drag my feet on information that is found. I would get out and I would take it more seriously, because we see from the coronavirus, this COVID-19, just a little bit ahead of time, we would have not have succumbed to such a hard situation. And the part with the ethylene oxide, I think that we relied on the EPA to have our backs. But here in Newton County, we need to have our own back. We need to have our own checks and balances, and not wait on people to tell us what is going on. And here in our county, this is our county, and we should take advantage of it, and we should be more aware of what's going on here.
Thank you. Ms. Hardiman, what ideas would you have as a county commissioner to facilitate safer and more convenient voting in our county, like Sunday voting, voting absentee by mail, and how would you make these changes permanent?
Sunday voting, I would make sure that they're in well-lit places, safe, secured, have security there. To secure that, make sure, well, I think once we make major decisions like that, I think we need to involve the community and get their voice of the county to see how they feel about and what they need to make it successful for them. So with Sunday voting, again, it has to be in a safe, secure area. I would provide security, as well as assistance for those that can't, have everything there that people need. Those that be accessible for the handicap, or the people that needs help with their voting. And what was the third part of it? You said Sunday, and to make sure that they were.
So they provided things like Sunday voting, voting absentee by mail, and how would you make these changes that you would do permanent?
With the absentee voting by mail, I know that on the new voting, the one that I received, it had specific things like with tape, and the voting, it needs to be revised a little bit, because in today's age, a lot of people do not carry, they don't have stamps. People use email. So we need to find a way to be able to be creative, so that those people that do not use stamps, and those that do not have email, we need to make it to be able for everyone to use those, like the elderly. A lot of those don't know how to use email. So the ones that do receive the ballots for absentee voting, it needs to be where those people that are not up to social technology, it should be for everybody. So it shouldn't just be tailored to email and putting tape on. I mean, those things are, it just needs to be for everyone. It needs to be tailored to everybody, so no one is excluded and your vote won't be left out. And we just have to figure out a way to make sure everyone is included, and then get that secured.
Thank you. Mr. Parham, what are
Yeah.
the 4 major boundary lines of your district, and what do you feel are the unique challenges to District 1?
The 4 main boundaries are Walton, Henry Butts, and Jasper. And I think Rockdale is, let's see. Yeah, in Rockdale, 1, 2, 3. Walton, Morgan, Jasper, Butts, Henry, and Rockdale. And I think the main what was the second part of the question?
The second part of the question is, what do you feel are the unique challenges to this district?
Well, I feel this district, it is a huge district. It's enormous. And I feel that we have a number of opportunities for growth in this district. I think that this district, by being so large, we should be considered. I think with the new Stanton program that they have coming out, I think that we should be known as the techno wizardry of the South. And I think that we have room. I think that we have room to for the other people to come in, for the other counties to come in. And I think that we should work hand in hand, as boundaries. I think that the other boundaries should come in and just, and support. I think that we should be aiding with more support from those other inlaid boundaries, other counties. I think that we should work more hand in hand with those counties, because we're so close, we share some of the same obstacles, and with their knowledge, with our knowledge.
Time.
Thank you, Mr. Parham. Ms. Hardiman, how will you address the lack of sidewalks in our district to help keep pedestrians safe and healthy?
I believe we need to build more sidewalks for all communities. Implement the crosswalks. Communities need sidewalks, especially with the amount of people that are coming into the county. We need sidewalks inside the communities to make sure that everyone is safe. And crosswalks. make sure they have the working lights. You press the buttons to go, stop, if necessary, if they're in, if you go across a major road or highway. So I would help make sure that the communities get sidewalks in their neighborhoods.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Parham, do you know where the money goes that is collected for the trash convenience center fees?
No, I really don't have well, I know it's a fee, and that money typically goes back into the general budget fund. It normally goes back into the funds, and it's pretty much distributed throughout the county to aid us in certain things that we want to do, like policing, the taking care of the elderly. Yeah, I do know. Yeah, I do know where the money is. That is a fee that goes back into the general budget fund, and it is used to run Newton County, just like any other fee, just like utilities, water, sewage. It goes back into running the county.
Thank you. Ms. Hardeman, in the past, Newton County has been reactive to external events such as the BD ethylene oxide event and the COVID-19 pandemic. What proactive steps would you take to possibly avert future dangers and better prepare us?
I think we need an oversight committee, should be implemented so that they can monitor toxin levels in the air, as well as the committee should be outsourced. And I believe that BD should pay for that, and it should not be an expense of the county.
Thank you. Mr. Parham, what are your thoughts or views on the Board of Commissioners providing permit and review fee forgiveness in an effort to attract new business such as Lidl?
Okay. I think that you have to have a little give and take, knowing that Lidl will be bringing in millions of dollars to our economy. Sometimes you just have to, hold on, let me go to this. You would just have to let me find it. I have the stats on it, but you don't have time. But Lidl will be bringing a lot of money. It will be bringing 270 jobs. Sometimes you have to kind of look away in a way to increase our much needed economy. You would need to, Lidl would be having with those jobs, the medium salary would be $15 an hour. So I think in the long run, we will not be losing by abating that fee, that permit fee that we are allowing Lidl to not pay. But in the long run, we will overcome that. So one hand works for the other.
All right, thank you, sir. Ms. Hardeman, tires, trash, and furniture are something that have been noticed more on the roadways in the rural areas of Newton County. Do you feel this is a result of raising fees on the dump pass or no? And how would you address the issue of garbage on our roadways?
I do believe that the garbage and the furniture on the road, on side of the road, is a result of the increased fees. And so I've seen an increase since the fees have been implemented. And again, like I said earlier, I don't agree with those fees. And I think that if those fees were changed or lowered, you would not have as many tires, trash, and furniture on the side of the road, because they'll be able to possibly afford to go back to the convenience centers, and that would eliminate it. So I think those two go hand in hand, the convenience fees and the garbage. So I think that affects the amount of trash that we have, even though we've already had a little, but I think it's way more than we usually have.
Thank you. All right, so give me 1 second. We got time for one more question apiece. right. Actually, we got time for one question for Mr. Parham and then one more round each. I'm sorry. I wanted to make sure I did it correctly. Give you each fair chance. Mr. Parham, how will you better allocate funds in our highest crime neighborhoods in Newton County?
Okay, what I would do would be first of all, we need to figure out what crimes are implemented into our committed into our neighborhoods and our communities, and we would work hand in hand with our public safety, Sheriff Brown. We would talk to. We would probably implement neighborhood watches. We already have neighborhood Facebooks, but we can use that in a way to pretty much find out where the crimes are coming from, who we think that might be committing the crimes, and as a community, be as one watchdog and allowing a lot and helping with the public safety, with the sheriff department, with people that are in charge of keeping us safe. If we as a community would be more vocal as to these things that are happening in our neighborhood, I think that we would be great. And that would help the crime in our neighborhoods.
There's been a power failure in Ryan's neighborhood, and I guess I'll give each of you, let's see, let me get Catalata here a question. I have been trying to keep up with it. I believe that let me ask her this one. Catalata, Hardiman, let's see, we're going to give you number 7. Is the county pushing the residents to use a private trash collector?
Yes, I believe that they are. Because of the fees for the center. So I do believe that they are, and I feel like people should have a choice and not be forced to do that, because everyone can't afford a set fee.
Thank you. That was your final, by the way, that was your final question, Catalata. And now for Roy Hardiman, excuse me, I'm sorry. Let's mix this up here. For Roy, we have for your final question for you, Roy, and that would be, let's see, question number 15. How will you better allocate funds in our highest crime neighborhoods in Newton County? Just one moment, Roy. Let me unmute you. Okay.
I think I just had that question.
Oh, you did? Okay. I'm sorry. I'm doing a lot here.
One was similar to it.
Since it's the last question, let's see if you've had this one. All right. Let me go down here to number 25. Let me see. It doesn't look like you had this one. Yeah, you did. You did have this one. How about question number 1? Did you have that one? Yeah. No. Okay. Here we go. I got one for you, Roy. Okay. Here we go. Final question for Roy, and then you'll have your closing statements.
Okay.
Once you ask yours, and we'll close out. Start with Ms. Hardiman for that one. Since the Newton County BOC votes on its Board of Elections budget, how would you vote on the Board of Elections providing funds for PPE and poll workers, absentee counters, etc., in this upcoming election year? Have you been asked that? I don't think you have you?
No, I haven't been asked that one.
Okay. All right.
Well, what I would do, I would most definitely get in contact with the Board of Elections and see what they need, see what are they lacking, what will help us to continue to have a great Newton County Board of Elections. And that's how I would distribute the funds. That's how I would vote in the budget. And I think that, they do such a great job. And I think with Miss Mantle, Miss Angela Mantle, she's doing such a great job over there. And I think that however, if they can get us good knowledge or information, if they have a need or whatever, I think we need to continue to service our Newton County Elections Board, because the democratic process is how we survive here in the United States. So whatever they need, or however they feel, or whatever, the budget should help us to keep the democratic process going. And the Newton County Board of Elections are doing a great job with that.
Thank you, Roy Parham. We appreciate that. We're going to go into our closing statements now. You have 2 minutes each, and we'll start out with Ms. Hardiman here. Okay, you're up, Carlotta.
All right. Well, I'd just like to say I will work tirelessly to promote smart growth through efficient zoning and land use, robust transportation, and I will make sure that smart growth and change does not negatively impact the residents, especially our senior citizens and low-income communities. And I look forward to being your visible voice for District 1.
All right, thank you so much. Now let me get you over here, Roy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Roy, okay, you're good. Roy, closing statements. You have 2 minutes.
Mike, as your up and coming District 1 Board of Commissioner, I would work hard, tireless. I would be transparent. I would be visible in the neighborhood. I would listen. That would be one thing as a Board of Commissioner. What I found out that they said would be a great asset. The ability to listen to the community. And whatever way I see that could benefit the community, I would be an advocate for the community. I would just bring us together as a community and create a one Newton, as they say in the slogan, one Newton, which I think is very important. I mean, it's 2 minutes, a whole lot of times that we don't know. It's so many. District 1 don't know about District 5, and District 5 don't join in with District 2. So I think that as a Board of Commissioner, I would bring us together. I would create a more transparent Newton, where everybody has the information to make a great decision, educated decision, and no one will be left out. That's what I would do. I would work hard to make sure that no one is left out and everyone has a voice.
Thank you, Roy. I appreciate that very much. We all appreciate it. I'm sorry for the technical glitch, but that is the way it is with Zoom. I've seen it happen on national television, and it's happening right here on YouTube with the Newton County Board of Commissioners, not with the Newton County Board of Commissioner candidates, not the commissioners. Anyway, I would like to thank both of you, Carlotta Hardiman and Roy Parham III, for participating in our forum this evening, and we wish you the best of luck in your run for the Commissioner of District 1 here in Newton County. We thank you again, Carlotta, and Roy, if you would like, you can just hit the leave button there. We're going to go on, and I have a few more things I have to say, and then we're going to have another forum coming up here directly.
Let's get out and vote, Mike.
I've already voted.
All right.
We're good to go.
All right.
Yes, that's right. Everybody, get out the vote. Let's do it, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to remind you that the Georgia Congressional District 4 is holding its weekly webinars to train for virtual phone banking. And these webinars are held Saturdays and Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Saturday is for candidates and staff, and Sunday is for anyone wishing to learn how to volunteer for 2020. You can find more information on the Georgia 4th Congressional District Facebook page, and you can subscribe to our mailing list by visiting NewtonGeorgiaDems.org. Thank you, and stay tuned. We have another forum coming up in just a few minutes.
Paid for and approved by the Newton County Democratic Committee. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.